Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our Hot Stocks panel. Hot Stocks for the holiday season. Glad that you're all here. Glad you've taken time out of your day to participate here. This is a panel that we've been doing now for the past 3 or 4 months. It is a fun panel. You're going to enjoy yourselves. And I like what Jake says. This is the all-star team. So yes, we can view what you are typing. Make sure it is good. That's right, Jay. Make sure it's good language. Don't be putting all that bad stuff out there, Jay. My name is Glenn Tompkins. I'm a senior instructor here at VectorVest. I will be hosting this hot stock panel. Just to let you know, this panel is centered around a software called VectorVest. VectorVest has been around for 30 years. It is a stock analysis and portfolio management system. So for many of you who may be new, this is the software that we'll be using. And we'll analyze stocks. We're going to give you some of our best picks for the holiday season. Now, they may not all be holiday stocks, but these are stocks that you can take advantage of now, provided the market is continuing to do what it does. We're going to show you entry points. We're going to show you exit points, all of those things. So that's what it's all about. Real quick, I'm going to introduce the guests that I have. Our top-notch instructors, as Joey likes to say. Top level. Sorry, Joey. By the way, in the background is Joey, our producer. You probably can't hear him, but he's the guy that makes all of this work. He's the one that makes the magic happen. All the way to my left is Jerry D'Ambrosio. Next to him is Steve Chappell. Next to him is Jim Penna. And of course, I am Glenn Tompkins. In a second, they're going to introduce themselves. Actually, let's do that now. Now that you've known they're here, who they are, I'm going to let them talk a little bit about themselves. So starting off with Jerry.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jerry D'Ambrosio. I'm the manager of educational content at VectorVest. Been with VectorVest now 13 years. I am heavily involved in a lot of our courses, our Trade Like a Pro course, Master the Art of Candlestick Analysis course. I fill in the Jockey Club from time to time. So I've been, like I said, with VectorVest 13 years. Started trading heavily about 8 years or so ago, and I'm big into technical analysis. I like to trade chart patterns and candlestick formations. I love trading and managing trades based on bullish and bearish patterns.
Steve?
So once again, Steve Chappell here. I've been with VectorVest now for 18 years. Seems like 2 weeks. You know, it really does. Just a little background on myself. I'm the Director of Trading Systems Development here at VectorVest now, so my primary focus is on putting trading systems together. However, over the 18 years that I've been here, I've done a little bit of everything, I guess. Taught everything from stock market basics and how to use VectorVest in that regard to make money in the stock market, all the way up to advanced option techniques and everything in between. So been around the block, I guess you would say, and it's just been a great ride. It's been a lot of fun, and my primary focus now, as I mentioned, trading systems, but also we do a live trading room every morning, as Jerry talked about, called the Jockey Club, and we get together about 2.5 hours every morning, and we look at stocks and what looks good as far as good trading opportunities every morning. So that's a blast, a lot of fun.
Very nice, Steve and Jerry. It's good to be up here with you guys, and Glenn as well. My name is Jim Penna. I have been with VectorVest for just over 12 years now. I am the manager of retirement services, and have been in the retirement service department for, I don't know how long now, 6 or 7 years, I guess. And it's been great. Prior to coming to VectorVest, I did have experience in the securities industry. I worked on a trading desk. I was a market maker for a while. And so it was a little different experience than coming to the more prudent, conservative side of retirement investing. But it's been great. I'm also, we have our Ultimate Retirement Solution courses that I'm involved in, also our option courses as well. So it's great to be here. Great to be here with these guys. And I'll just echo what Jay had written. It's more like Mo, Larry, and Curly up here than the All-Star team. So good to be here, though. Thanks for taking the time. Hope you enjoy it.
All right, my name is Glenn Tompkins. I'm a senior instructor here at VectorVest. I've been with VectorVest for 15 years. 15 years. When I first started here, I knew nothing about the stock market. Not to say that I'm any closer to a stock market guru or specialist or expert or anything like that. I use the power of the software. As I mentioned, the software has been around for 30 years. It's made a difference in my own trading life. I've made a lot of money utilizing the VectorVest software, and I love doing it. It's a skill that I now have to take for me for the rest of my life until my last breath, which hopefully won't be anytime soon. What I do primarily, you'll hear me on a lot of webcasts. I'm primarily, if you look at up here, I do probably the most, maybe besides you, maybe as far as webcasts. Maybe. Anyway, doesn't matter. I do a lot of webcasts. I do the Jockey Club with Steve. I also do a weekly derby session. I do a Training Tuesday, which takes you through every facet of the software. Also here on YouTube, I do a Trending Thursday. So I think Glenn was Irish. Really? Alrighty then. Anyway, so that's what I do primarily, and I enjoy hosting these presentations that we do with the great people that I work with. And we all feed off of each other, believe it or not, in regards to stocks and what's going on in the market. Whether we agree with each other or not, doesn't matter. But as you'll see when these stocks come up, everyone has a different take on why they picked the stocks that they did. And I think putting that together gives you a better sense of the power behind the VectorVest software. What Jerry might like, I may not like. What Jim likes, Steve may not like. So, but when we say don't like, we all trade a little differently, and you're going to get the full effect of that. Real quick, for those people who may be new, if you like what we're doing here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and
Share.
No, not share. Like, share, and what? Comment. Yes, that's a big thing. Comment. It's important that as we do these videos and we put these out there for people to see, comment on those videos. Let non-subscribers know what you as subscribers think. And if you are a subscriber and you like what you see, let us know. And if there's things that you would like to see more of, you guys have a voice. Use it. You guys have a voice. Comment on the videos on YouTube. We will have a giveaway. We're going to give away a pass to the 2020 Tampa 2-day live stream. Do not type Tampa in the room. All right, just want to put that out there. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put up a link. Where is it at, Joey? Chrome. Oops. Chrome. There it is. Can they see that? All right. So if you wish to attend, Joey's going to put. Hopefully, Joey's going to put a link in there for you. Is that what's going to happen, Joey?
You can tell them VectorVest.com/win.
All right, so VectorVest.com/win will bring up this form for you. All right, enter for a chance to win a free pass. There are going to be 2 tracks, one for retirement-minded investors, which will be headed up primarily by Jim Penna, and another suited for short-term traders, which is pretty much going to be headed up between Steve and Jerry. Is that correct? All right. Excuse me. Both tracks are designed to give you all the answers you need to become a more successful stock market investor or trader. You will learn proven techniques. That's a key word there. Proven techniques that will take you from step 1 all the way to the finish line. You guys have 35 minutes and 30 seconds, and I'm not going to keep doing that, in order to submit your first name, last name, email, and confirm it. What are you going to say? You saying something?
I wasn't talking to you.
Okay, fine. And then hit the submit button. So it's www.vectorvest.com/win. And Joey already put that in there as well. All right, and the cutoff for the giveaway is going to be at 2:45 p.m. So you have up until 2:45 to fill out this form. Once it's done, that's it. I'm not going to do the other thing yet, Joey, right? All right. So again, Joey keeps me on track. So now, we're going to start with our first pick. Remember, we're giving you 10 stocks. We're going to start with my renowned colleague. Renowned, I like that. Renowned.
I like that too.
You like that too?
I like that, yeah.
And I'm not going to boost you. I don't want to refine it. Define it. I don't want to refine it or define it. I can't spell it. Yeah, it is. What was the word? Renowned. Yeah.
Renowned, yes.
That's sort of like. Never mind. Anyway, starting with Jerry. Jerry, the floor is yours, my friend.
All right, thank you, Glenn. The first thing I want to do, guys, we'll talk about the 3 picks that I have today. And what we'll do first is we'll go into the viewers. So before charting any stock, what you should do is put your stocks at a watch list. We've done that already. And the first pick for today that I've selected is Home Depot. So it is holiday related, right? So let's just kind of quickly go through the analysis. I'll go through the analysis of all 3 stocks first, then we'll go into the chart for each. Home Depot, I would say it's fully valued. The price is $233, value is $225, so it's right there. It's fully valued. You might be paying a little bit of a premium, technically an $8 premium, but it is a good stock, as we'll see here from the analysis that we'll go through. Relative value, if you're not a VectorVest subscriber, RV is the upside potential, long term, of the stock. It's on a 0 to 2 scale. Above 1's good, below 1 is bad. So you got good upside potential here over the next 1 to 3 years. It's a very, very safe stock. Relative safety is an indicator of risk, so there's not much risk with this investment, with this trade. RS is at 1.46. Now the RT indicator is just about at 1.05. So you'll see in a moment why I selected this stock. It's not in a very strong uptrend, and that's what RT measures. But again, I'll explain why I selected the stocks, but this stock in particular. But the fundamentals are very good. Just scroll over to the right, Glenn. Actually, close your left panel down a little bit. Gotcha. Give us a little bit more room. It's currently got a hold rating. You'll see why on the chart. Earnings growth rate, a little over 12%. You could scroll over just to see that. Good earnings growth rate as well. All right. Scroll back over to the left and scroll down. Taylor Morrison is one of the other stocks that I picked. Now, this is a company actually that's somewhat near and dear to my heart. My wife and I, one of the reasons why I picked it, my wife and I are building at the moment a Taylor Morrison home. So I've gotten familiar with the company a little bit. Really bunch of great people that I've dealt with, and I've started tracking the stock ever since we went under contract.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. $22 stock, valued at $34, so undervalued, so that's good. Good upside potential, 1.41 RV. A little bit of a riskier investment, I would say. Not too bad, though. RS is a little bit below 1 at 0.98. Now, the stock is definitely not in an uptrend. RT is at 0.87, and it currently has a sell rating. And if you scroll over to the right, you'll see earnings growth rate at 18%. So it's a fundamentally solid company. And again, once we get into the chart, I'll explain why I selected this one. And the last one is up at the top, I believe. Where is it? Oh, Allstate, ALL. So price is 110, value is 146. So you get a nice deal there, a nice bargain. Another fundamentally sound company, 1.38 RV, 1.45 RS. Not in a very strong uptrend, 1.11 RT, and it does have a buy rating, good earnings growth rate at 10%. Okay, so that's your initial face value analysis. Let's go into the chart, and I'll explain why I selected these. Okay, Home Depot. So we talked about fundamentals a little bit. Really nice earnings performance there at the bottom. You could see earnings per share go from bottom left to upper right. Nice little pop recently too with earnings per share. We're looking at a 1-year chart here. So the 2 moving averages at the top. Glenn, do me a favor. Take off the last close. Take off that horizontal orange line. And let's go to a 6-month chart. So the blue moving average, that's a 50-day moving average. The yellow moving average, that's the 150-day moving average. So intermediate term moving average above the longer term moving average, price hovering right over that 50. So it's a pullback trade. We're trying to buy the recent dip. So that's why you saw that it had a hold rating and the RT wasn't quite above, not too far above 1, right? It's because it has pulled back a little bit over the last few weeks. It's still above its 50. The 50 is still above the 150. You got some nice separation, too, between the 2 moving averages. Okay, so trend is strengthening, even though price has pulled back a little bit, because the pullback has been from a new high. Okay, stochastics also just recently, over the last couple of days, crossed from below 20 to above 20. So that's a nice entry right there when it crosses from below 20 to above 20. So I really like this trade. You could see it just recently kissed the 50-day moving average. So let's say today's Wednesday. Well, later on in the session, maybe if you don't buy it today, you wait for tomorrow. You wait for follow through tomorrow. The stock price, let's say right now it's at a high of 234.52. Let's say that high holds. That's the high today. Okay. 234.52. Let's say that high holds. I'm going to want to see price go above 234.52 tomorrow before pulling the trigger. So again, we're trying to buy this dip. Price has kissed the 50-day, retracing nicely from the 50-day, and that's the play there. Okay. Let's go. We'll save Taylor Morrison. We'll go to Allstate. And this is just a breakout trade here, a breakout play above resistance. You can see, and just go to a 6-month chart. You can see solid resistance there. Glenn, hover your mouse over that resistance line. Man, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches in that. What's that price? What's that resistance? It's hard to tell. Well, whatever that zone is, whatever that price zone is, you can see 5 resistance touches within that zone. Just recently, yesterday, in fact, we had a breakout on higher than average volume as well. We could see a nice spike in volume yesterday, breakout above resistance. So I'm going to use yesterday's high for my trigger here for this one, unless today's high winds up being higher than yesterday's high. So I just want, with a breakout trade above resistance, I want higher highs to be established before I enter. You got a high yesterday of 111. So again, if today's high doesn't break out above yesterday's high, I'm going to use yesterday's high as my entry point. So this is a nice breakout trade. Got a buy rating recently as well from VectorVest. Glenn, what was the RT rating for Allstate?
Should be pretty good.
1.10.
1.10. So it's above 1, and you can see from recent price action, right? And you could put on RT, Glenn. Probably moving sideways for a while, yeah. Not in a very strong uptrend. You're not going to generally get high RT ratings when you've seen price move sideways for quite a long time, like we've seen with this stock, and then again, eventually, or just recently breaking out above resistance. So that's a breakout play here, breaking out above resistance. And the last one.
Oh, before you go
Sure.
there, you know what I like about this trade? Over the last 3 months, historically, look at what the trade has done. Before it went sideways, and now this could be the onset of a new upward trend.
Yep.
RT, even when it went sideways, RT, that indicator, that's a smart indicator for all you guys that are not subscribers to the software. RT looks at the short-term price trend of the stock, and even when the stock's price pulled back or sat and got settled into that sideways move, RT stayed above the value of 1. And over this 6-month time period, it stayed above the value of 1. So that lends credence to the idea that not only did it break, it actually broke through here, followed through, tested support, now tested as a level of support, now getting more follow through going up. But historically, the stock's price has gone up on good RT. RT starting to bounce and run up now. That could be an entry, really good entry
Also,
into that stock.
Go back to a 1-year chart and put earnings on. So there's always a layer of fundamentals that I want to add
That's even
to a
more
technical
beautiful.
trade. So even though I'm looking really just at price and volume, and that's what I've spoken on so far, I still like earnings. Earnings is going to drive that price higher and higher. Again, just another added layer of analysis there. So last one, Taylor Morrison.
I also like the commercials for Allstate.
Sure.
Okay.
Man like you.
Like you.
All right. Now, many of you are going to look at this one and say, are you crazy? But let me explain. First off, let's go to a 1-year chart. Fundamentals are solid, right? Earnings performance, bottom left to upper right. Nice little spike recently in earnings. So it's got that fundamental piece to it, right? You could take off earnings. Stochastics, so now we're looking strictly technical now. Stochastics is really oversold. It's below 20. So a lot of upside, I feel, here moving forward based on the strong fundamentals. Fundamentally sound, technically a little oversold. Love the upside. Also, we're looking at a 1-year chart. We're looking at end-of-day data points, so end-of-day bars. You could see price just recently retraced from support. Okay, so we have the stock's price just recently retraced from daily support. Go to a 5-year chart, and you see the price also at weekly support. All right, so we've got, it seems like we've established a nice floor here, both on a weekly chart and a daily chart. Go back to a 3-month chart. And 2 days ago, and the reason why I really like this is the stock's price at support formed a bullish pattern. I said earlier I like trading bullish candlestick patterns, and it formed a bullish pattern called a bullish engulfing. That's that big green bar that you see right there at support. Okay, so bullish engulfing 2 days ago, that was Monday. Follow through yesterday, that's important. Okay, had a nice day yesterday. Stochastics is still really oversold, that's okay. It's starting to curl upward though. That's the play there. Still a sell rating, so you're bottom fishing here. You're bottom fishing for a fundamentally sound company that, technically speaking, is oversold. You know, in that crash there, it seems like just a little bit of an over-exaggeration or an overreaction. Look, if this company wasn't as fundamentally sound as they currently are, I wouldn't be too keen on it. You also have a gap down there just recently, so we expect price to come back and fill that gap eventually. So I like this play, retracement off of support, bullish candlestick formation, oversold, fundamentally sound. Tim's asking, how are their fundamentals? Fundamentals are great. Let's go back to the stock viewer. We see long-term earnings performance, right? Taylor Morrison, there we go. It's undervalued, great upside potential. You know, when you have an RS of 0.98, it's fair. You know, it's look, it's not at 1.2, 1.4, but they, as you can see from that chart, they've done a good job. Particularly recently, meeting or beating their earnings expectations, and you got a nice earnings growth rate there at 18%. Okay, but that's the bottom fishing play there that I've selected.
I'm going to chime in. These guys are quiet today. Oh, go
I
ahead.
was
Go
going to
ahead.
let Jerry finish before I come.
Yeah.
Hey, did you not finish?
I'm done now, yes.
Okay, you were finished before I got this. Don't even start. All right. I'm
Being nice. Go
ahead.
Jump in.
Go ahead. Jump in now.
I was just going to comment a couple of things on two of the stocks. This is a great one, and I love the way that Jerry uses the support and resistance. I know I said this on the panel before, but my experience, these guys are experts on candlesticks. I don't know anything about candlesticks, but the technical indicator that I love to use is support and resistance. I learned that from my days as a market maker. It's where the supply and demand, where are the buyers, where are the sellers. Jerry does a great job using the support and resistance there. I thought the Allstate was a great one, a great breakout trade. Using that high, what you'll also get, the way I like to look at it, is a candlestick that's not touching that, what is now support line. A full candlestick above that resistance line would be great to see, and you'd get that if it goes above the high.
Yep.
So great picks. And then one last comment, Allstate and Home Depot, by the way, I'll talk about relative safety in a minute, but you saw the RSs on these stocks. I love to see trading of these wonderful, this could have come off any retirement search that we use, so I love that. So great job.
Thank you, Jim. One question I think somebody was asking about TMHC. Yeah, so good point. It's heading down today, right? So we're not just going to put a market order in right now. We're going to use today's high. So forget about trading the stock now. Let's wait till tomorrow. Stock goes above whatever today's high is. That's when we'll look to get in. So good point there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Back on that, I mean, I think Jerry would agree here. Not today, but yesterday was a good day to buy it too.
Yesterday was a great day to buy. Yeah,
And-
off the confirmation of the bullish engulfing. Sure.
Yeah, and when you look at risk to potential reward here,
Yep.
it's like 8-1. It looks like.
If you're looking at the most recent high there as your solid target.
Where the marker is.
Yeah,
on the H.
right. And your risk is right at support. You're not going to let the stock go any further down past support before getting out. So yeah, risk reward ratio there is solid.
It's great. Since you're a trader.
Yes, right.
Even from a trade perspective, this is ideal because I was poised to come in here and go, holy smokes, why are you picking this trade? Makes sense.
Okay.
It does make sense. And what is the best type of trade to get into? Buying low and selling high. I love that the stochastics is telling you it's oversold. It's now getting out of that oversold territory, bouncing off support. And the question of the statement was that it's going down today. Really? It's got more of a doji going on, where the price of the open and the close are very infinitesimal.
No, it's indecision.
All right, fine. All right. Anyway, it is indecision. That's the real. But the price movement between the open and the close are small. That is a level of indecision. The earnings behind that, that is the gasoline behind it to start moving this stock up. And you know something? You got a lot of upside to that level of the high, which is sitting, I hate when that happens, sitting at the point of $28. Folks, you got $6 on a $22 trade, 6, 12, 18, 20. It's about 25%. 25% potential move. And you know something? As a means to getting out, that's a good opportunity to take the profit off the table at that point. So there you go. That was more like $1 more so than 2 cents. So I thought I was going to put 2 cents, came out to $1.
I would say about $0.015, actually.
Wow. All right.
Just kidding.
No, you're not. No, you're not. All right. The next picks will be coming from.
I'm afraid to go now. You want to go next?
It's going to come up to Steve Chappell. His first pick is going to be Lulu, but do you want to look at it on the?
Yeah, go to the viewers.
All right, let's go to the viewers. Let's go find Lulu.
All right, should be at the top.
It is at the top. Way to go, Steve.
I got lucky.
Okay.
All right, so good story here, obviously. I don't like to get too much into stories, but Lulu has been knocking the cover off the ball last several earnings announcements. You probably also, if you follow CNBC or anything like that, you've probably heard things like only 5% of their business is actually affected by any of this China shenanigans, all that stuff. So they've got a very solid business model, and in the spirit of the holiday season, with everybody wanting to go out and buy some yoga apparel, I'm sure, they actually make some good clothes all the way around now. And it's not cheap stuff. Let's go through the VectorVest numbers, and because that's the answers. All of that is conjecture and hearsay and fluff and things that you can get right off of TV. Let's see what the facts are. So the price is $210. Value is roughly $151, right? So it does trade above value. Now, really good stocks often do. So that is only a concern if they're not making money and doing that consistently. So let's go, now having said that, we would always prefer to buy undervalued stocks when you can find them, particularly if they're of this caliber, right? But let's continue on with the story. So we'll move across to RV, which is relative value. Relative value is the upside potential for a stock over a 1 to 3 year time horizon. These numbers are all cast on a 0 to 2 scale, okay? So anything above 1 is favorable for the stock. So what we're saying here is Lulu should outperform a similar investment in a AAA corporate bond over the next 1 to 3 years by roughly 38%. That's 38% above and beyond whatever the current rate is, okay? So that gives us some insight. That says, hey, you're better off buying this stock and far better off than putting your money in a quote-unquote safer investment like a AAA bond. When we get to RS or safety, now it becomes important, hey, I like the fact that they're making money, but how consistently have they done it? And so relative safety gives us that answer. It clearly, there's about 12 factors, okay? And we only have a short amount of time today, so I got to be careful because I'm the long-winded one on this panel.
Amen.
But they're the companies with the highest safety ratings are the ones that grow that earnings quarter after quarter after quarter, year after year, okay? So the higher they are above 1, the better job they do. And so of this list, it's not the highest, I don't think, but it's pretty close.
It's number 2.
Okay. So they have great upside. They do it very consistently. They grow that earnings very, very consistently. Also, the timing is good. Timing is at 135. So we call this, or I would anyway, a 3-time winner. It's got good upside. It's safe. One of the safer ones out there, believe it or not, even though it trades well above value. And it's also in a nice price trend. So all factors considered, it gives it its VST score. That's where we get our name, VectorVest, from the Vector formula for value, safety, and timing. Okay, so it's got the highest composite score of any stock on the list. Now let's get to the next pick, and then we'll go to the charts. That seemed like a good flow.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I'm going to take I'm going to take a little bit of a bird of a different feather approach here. I'm going to try to capitalize on what you might know now as the 5G revolution. 5G's coming, Jim.
It's coming.
It's coming, right? So Qorvo, interesting company here, and it's not a little guy.
I don't know why that happened, sorry.
It's okay. Currently price is coming in at 103. This, by the way, was taken directly from a watch list in VectorVest that was produced by our founder, Dr. Bart DeLito, was several months ago now, maybe close to half a year or more. But anyway, he wrote about the 5G revolution that's coming, and this was one of the stocks featured in that watch list. I like it today because it's on the move, man. It's really moving. Right now it's undervalued, which is good. Price is 103, value is 121. When we look at upside potential, it's starting to ring some bells there now. So you got a 1.17, and I think you're going to see here in a minute that that's only, kind of on its way up. Safety, they're still establishing their track record. They're not the safest stock by way of meeting and beating earnings estimates quarter after quarter, year after year, but they are on fire right now. And again, you'll see that here in a second. As 5G is just kind of at its infancy and not even really off the ground yet. We're getting there. Relative timing comes in at 166, so it's in one of the stronger uptrends of any stock on the list, if not the strongest right now. Okay. All right, so let's look at these two stocks, Glenn, then on the charts. One, I'm going to capitalize on something Jerry was just talking about, and Jim. Support and resistance. So Lulu likes to move in waves. There's just no two ways about it. It likes to do an ABC. It likes to start low, go higher, pull back a little bit, and then repeat that over and over and over and over again across the chart, right? One of the things that I see happening right now is it's breaking up towards that next apex. It's breaking through resistance, right? So I believe you can buy a Lulu now. That might be refreshing. I really think you should consider it. It's one of the top stocks certainly on this list. It ranks highly in the VectorVest system altogether. If you look at earnings on the bottom, very, very strong earnings growth, particularly even recently, which has been a pretty tough climate to do that. Jerry had some good EPS patterns too on his picks. I'm sure Jim will as well. But that looks great. And like I said, I mean, they really have, their earnings reports have been tremendously upbeat. Breaking out, that's why I picked this one. Keeping it really simple. And yeah, I think you could buy it right now. I mean, the only thing I would say on that front is go to the homepage, just real quick. What do we say? VectorVest does not advocate buying any stocks at this time. So your only concern, it's not the stock level. The stock looks great. Okay? It's the market. The market's starting to look a little toppy here, guys. Over the past 7-8 trading sessions, we've closed within a pretty tight range. Today compared to where, and maybe even today compared to where we've been over those last 5, 6, 7 days. So when we start to turn green here, Lulu's a buy. Okay, let's get back to the graphs. So the next one was Qorvo, right? This is, again, it's different. This is this is the hot stock picking panel, right?
Yeah.
So I tried to put a hot one in here. This one's moving. It's up about 35% in the last month, something like that. Look at that earnings acceleration on the bottom. So one of the more dramatic movers by way of earnings here lately, again, they're starting to get a lot of great press. You can see the chart pattern up there at the top. We had some explosiveness. We'll get to the news here in a minute. Then a little bit of a jog sideways and some resurgence today. I like the fact that it kind of had a little mini pullback here, and buyers are resurfacing and coming right back into the party here. So a break above the high of the channel, and I think you're a buyer here on QRVO, which is not all that far away. Could happen tomorrow with some good market movement at the open. So I'm going to show them something they haven't showed them yet. Let's go to the news. Right within VectorVest, you can always click the news button, come out and see, why is this stock up 35% in the last month? So just scroll down. Well, there you go. Why Qorvo could be positioned for a surge. That was written 5 hours ago by Zacks. Okay, let's keep going down. Qorvo, strong industry, solid earnings estimate revisions. Those revisions are going the right way. They're all being revised higher, which is what you want to see. Corvo is set to trade still higher, so buy the shallow dips here. So
we're seeing now.
which we're seeing now, and that's written by the street 5 days ago. So they got it right, Jerry.
Yeah, they did.
They got it right. So lots of reasons to think about it. I don't like to tell anybody ever what to do. I just like to present possibilities, and I think here's another possibility that they should consider. What do you guys think?
I love
Go
it.
through them.
Just a different perspective on Lulu. If you click on Lulu, Glenn, go back to Lulu.
Am I not on Lulu?
No, you're on Corvo.
I knew that.
And give me a freehand line.
Dang it, you're going to do what I was getting ready to do.
And I want you to take right above the
good.
above the U. I want you to click at the low right above the U and draw a trend right above the U at that low. Yep, and draw a trend line connecting those lows. You could probably go a little higher.
Yeah.
I want to catch that most recent low. Yeah, I want to catch that low. So different perspective is if you don't buy it now, you wait for it to come back down, kiss that trend line, which you've seen it do a couple of times, and that is a good entry as well.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I was going to do it a little differently.
Particularly
I was
with
going
a
to go
candle
on the
pattern.
1
Yes.
year. I was going to go on the 1 year graph and sort of do the same thing. And both of our lines come out. Look at that last low. They both, whether it's on the 1 year graph or in that shorter term, that now solidifies that point, which is, and if Jerry lets me know if I'm correct or not.
Well, the only thing is you always adjust trend lines higher. But we'll come back to that at another time.
That's what I was looking at. I know. And they are better suited for that, but would you call that a hammer, yes or no?
It's close.
Okay.
I don't think that the lower wick is twice as long as the body, so
And
I'd
that's
say
what
no.
needs to happen, so I wasn't sure. But nonetheless, that level
That's a
I know
hammer.
what a hammer is.
that level of support, almost a hammer, not quite, but still a reversal nonetheless. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row off of that candlestick pattern. All right, so that was going to be my 2 cents, Jerry. I dislike you for using the freehand line. I really do.
I'll just say again, I love the idea that it's a high RS stock. It could have come from any retirement search. So I love the stock just because of that.
Anything on Corvo? I like that it's right there at resistance. And guess what? Today's activity has it right there. Normally, if my friend Tom was here, he would say, man, this stuff really works. Looking at support and resistance,
It needs the breakout.
it does. And it's right there, popping earnings.
So you'd place the buy stop order
I'd
right,
place
right above the high.
I'd place the
above the high.
buy stop 12.5 cents above the high.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah,
All
you
right.
could do it now.
You could.
Go into my account. I'm going to place a buy. No, I'm just
Oh, wow. Because I was like, if I were to get in your account, you wouldn't like that very tough, would you? You'd be like, whoa, what you doing in my account?
nothing to hide.
Well,
Want to trade in my account?
all right. Good picks. I do like the picks. So far, both of the picks were right. And the trade that I was going to really go in on, you did a good job. You really did a good job. And it actually turned me around on one look at it. All right. It's amazing how many times we pick a stock that we are associated with.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of people out there do that. But being able to take that heartfelt information and then translate it into what the software provides for you helps to establish or say, man, I might really like it, but it's not the right time. But that's a good deal. All right, we go to Jim.
Great job.
Jim is.
2 tough acts to follow, I'll tell you that.
Well, you got the surefire winners.
Well, we'll see.
Do you want to start in the?
We'll start in the viewers page is a good way. I like that
Okay.
flow as well. And I'll just talk about real quick. I have 3 stocks picked. Now, let me just preface this in case there's anybody in the room who when I'm on this panel, my hot stock definition is a little bit different. A little bit different in that, as manager of retirement services, I'm looking at those more prudent, conservative, longer-term types of investments that we want to focus on. So, a little bit different, but that's why I love the fact that Home Depot's up there, Lulu's up there, Allstate, because you can trade these stocks just as well. And so, what you'll notice on mine. So, the first one we can start with Brown & Brown is the one that Glenn has highlighted here. And it is it's in the insurance industry. It's only $38 stock. It is, we would call it slightly overvalued. But Steve made a great point. You know, that would not summarily dismiss me from buying a stock simply because it's overvalued. Now, the first thing I would do when I look at an overvalued stock, Glenn, if you scroll over just a little bit to the right, the first thing I look at when I see an overvalued stock is the earnings growth rates. And if the earnings growth rates are strong, which anything in double digits in my opinion is, then I'm going to probably look past that. Plus, we've got a relative safety number at 1.40, which is excellent in the VectorVest program. Everything that I do in the retirement services, any course or webcast or whatever I focus on, it all starts with relative safety, the earnings, the consistency and predictability of the financial performance. That's how we define it. What two better adjectives to have about the stocks that live in your portfolio than consistent and predictable? So whether it's longer term, shorter term, and generally what happens with a high relative safety number is that all the other numbers will fall into place. Right? Relative value is not huge on Brown & Brown, but relative safety is very strong. The comfort index, somebody had typed in, I noticed on the chat box, comfort index is what we define as price growth persistence, or also defined as a stock's ability to withstand lengthy or severe downturns. In other words, as you saw in Lulu, as you'll see on Advanced Micro when it comes up, these high CI stocks have that lower left to upper right pattern, which is what we want to see. Oftentimes, high relative safety stocks will give us that. So that's the importance of relative safety. So that's Brown & Brown. And the other reason this one is chosen, because it comes from a very specific watch list called the DRIP 25 Plus. In our watch list, we have a dividend-paying watch list, and this comes, what's also referred to as the dividend aristocrat. Not only have they paid, but they've grown their dividends every year for at least 25 years. Some on that list as much close to 100 years. But they've paid and grown their dividend, so that's the other reason from that retirement point of view that one's on there. Next is Microsoft, was the next stock that I chose. Really going on a limb here, huh, with the choice. Microsoft, I just think I was looking for a good quality stock that I think is, and not just happening now, but transforming into more, I don't want to label it as a growth stock, but it used to be that, you know, that larger value play, but they got a lot of things going on there. Again, relative safety at 1.35. You've got the comfort index very high. Earnings growth rate is very strong. And Glenn, if we scroll over, a big part of the stocks that I choose, if you can keep going to the dividend information, all of the stocks that I'll choose do pay a dividend. And so what you also get with relative safety is strong dividend safety and dividend growth using the VectorVest analysis. So you've got double-digit dividend growth. You've got dividend safety is the one indicator. It's on a 0 to 99 scale. It's not the 0 to 2 scale that's generally talked about. So we say anything above 50 on the dividend safety level is favorable, because what it's going to ensure is that your payout ratio is favorable. In other words, the company is making more money than it's paying out in dividends. You could either use earnings yield versus dividend yield, or you can see the earnings versus the dividend paid. So it's favorable when you've got that high dividend safety number. Very important when we're building, managing our retirement portfolios. And then finally, the stock Teradyne. Teradyne is a stock I chose because part of my what I do is we have a retirement coaching group, and every Tuesday we manage different portfolios, and Teradyne was a recent addition to one of those portfolios. And again, relative safety very strong, a comfort index at 1.7, and you'll see why when we go to the graph. And just all of those numbers that we've all been talking about just all line up. So Glenn, we can go into the graphs now and take a look, see what all that looks like. So my graph's set up a little different. I like to start, you could take volume off on mine, Glenn. And you can take the dividend, I'm sorry, the splits off rather, just not down in the lower left there. I asked Glenn to set mine up just a little bit differently here. I start with a 5-year graph, okay? And then we'll break it down a little bit, because as Jerry and Steve both showed, a longer term, you can see earnings per share, right? We like to say it's not a coincidence that earnings per share is rising, so too is the price of the stock. Right? It's kind of a cliche or a well-used line that we have here. down below earnings is the dividend payout. And this is just 5 years. As I said, Brown & Brown goes back over 25 years of growing their dividend. We like to call it the golden staircase. We used to call it, I'm using it in a little different context than we used to do it years ago on the road, but I call that now the dividend golden staircase. And so they're growing that dividend. And that's the kind of stock that we want in our retirement portfolio. So to me, it's a hot stock. But not only is it a hot stock over the long term, Glenn, if we go to 1 year, we'll see the same characteristics that we want to see on stocks that are moving to the upside. It's a buy-rated stock. It is hitting new highs, and we would probably use the same logic we were using. Put a buy stop right above the top there. Collect a good quality, whether it's long-term or shorter-term hold on the stock. So, and you can even make it 3 months, and you can see a nice move on Brown & Brown as it's gone up. So that's
Brown & Brown is good all the way around.
That's
Okay.
right. That's right, bro.
Wow! There you go. That's right, bro. Okay.
Oh, God.
You want to go to the next?
Yeah, let's go to the next.
Let's go to Teradyne.
We'll go to Teradyne, and you're going to see, again, something very similar. It's a 5-year graph we have set up. And again, Glenn, you can take off volume. But the same idea. This one even more so. Buy-rated stock hitting a new high, I think
5-year high.
today, 5-year high.
Yeah.
So again, just really the same principles here. If we break it down to 1 year, you're going to see also, a stock that's meeting not only that long-term but that shorter-term move. Now, the dividend, that's just a 1 year, so you don't see the dividend growth there. The yields here aren't great, but I always choose a stock, or usually choose a stock that does pay a dividend. So that's what we're looking on Teradyne. I wanted to choose that one and show that one because, again, this was very recently added to our model portfolio in our Tuesday coaching session. So I just thought it was a nice one. I just love that nice smooth graph pattern. And this is the one, I believe, with a comfort index at 1.7 on a 0 to 2 scale.
That's high.
So you don't have a whole lot of drawdown here.
Just look at that move.
Yeah, it's really a nice.
Most of the volatility is to the upside.
Yeah, that's right. That's what we like to see, right? We don't do a lot of shorting in our retirement portfolio, so we like to see the volatility upside. So just another example of a buy-rated stock rising in price, long-term and shorter-term if you want to go that route as well. And then finally, Glenn, I think that was all 3 of my stocks. That was it? Did I do Microsoft?
Now you are.
I could just put XYZ on all these graphs. They all really look the same here. But again, quality stock, high relative safety, high CI, earnings growth rate, dividend growth rate, dividend safety, all very strong. So whether you're trading them or investing them for the long term, those numbers are really going to be a big deal. Again, I don't know anything about candlesticks the way these guys do. Support and resistance is what I look at. But from my perspective of that longer term outlook, this is what I look for. And we have a similar pattern, Glenn. If you go probably 3 months, you
Nice
can see
breakout, too.
a little consolidation kind of thing going there.
Yeah.
And then you've got some strength in the stock there as well.
Right about there,
Keep
fellas.
going.
Yep.
Keep going down.
Now?
Keep going down. Keep going.
That-
Keep going.
Below the lows
No,
there.
below the low. So that connecting the other high.
There
Keep
you
going.
go.
Keep going. Keep
Right
going.
there.
Keep going. Right about there. Go to a 6
stop.
month chart.
Leave me alone.
Yeah. So
Yeah. No, right there. No,
There you
right
go, there you go,
There
there
you
you
go.
go.
All right.
So
That's better than the one that I was going to put. Okay.
That's okay.
And the beauty of this is, listen, not every stock's going to go straight up all the time as we're watching. Even high RS stocks aren't going to do that. But what you've got is a dividend, a safe growing dividend. They pay $2.04 a share. That's the annual dividend. So even in that August to October timeframe,
Where it's moving sideways?
yeah, you're still getting paid. Go
And they grew
ahead
it.
and hit dividends on that lower left, in the lower left control panel down there, right? So
Pay.
you're getting paid. Yeah, those flags
Paid.
represent one payout, the X date and then the payout date. If you go to 5 years, one last illustration there. You're getting paid on top of all this. You're getting a paycheck every 90 days. So,
That is.
hot stocks long term. So I try to combine a nice long term hot stock with even a shorter term hot stock. So the way it's related to the holiday season is buy yourself a stocking stuffer, grab a couple of these stocks, and you'll be all set.
Anybody got any input?
I'm just taken back by Microsoft, right? I
Yeah.
mean, there was a time
It was
when
a $30 stock.
what's Microsoft?
Yeah,
Now $25.
Yeah.
What does
right.
Doc call it?
It was Microsoft.
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 Yeah.
So they figured it out.
Yeah.
They stopped making sausage and they
Yeah.
started really focusing the business model. And here you go.
Over the last few years, I mean, there's been
it's a
some
great
fundamental changes in the company. You know?
That's the most
Yeah.
beautiful chart I've seen
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
in a while.
It's
It's really nice.
But all three of his stocks are from that perspective.
Badger's saying the only thing I know about candlesticks is blowing them out on birthday cakes. There's so many candlesticks on my birthday
my
cake now, I
God.
can't blow them all out, so we just put one down.
Why do I start talking Italian when I talk to you?
How you doing? Forget about it. So, but you look at all three of these graphs, they all have the same characteristics, which is very interesting from the standpoint of two different investors on this panel. Jerry's that more aggressive person, whereas Jim is that more steady, slow Eddie kind of guy. But these graphs are ideal, are the types of stocks that you want to keep in your retirement portfolio. This is why he's the manager of retirement and bringing to the forefront these kinds of stocks. And if you're not a subscriber, or if you are a subscriber and you haven't joined the Ultimate Retirement Solutions course, this is the kind of stuff that you see. Where else are you going to be able to easily ascertain or
You're good there.
okay, these kind of this was another word I was looking for. There's another
Painful.
discern these kinds of stocks out of the world of how many stocks are out there. VectorVest has the power to be able to do so, and Jim wields Thor's hammer in that universe to be able to provide this for you.
Wow.
Wow,
That's a lot of power.
that is a lot of power, Jim.
I hope it's a light hand.
All right.
12 ounces, maybe.
12, I'm not going there. I got you. All right, so I am at the end of the presentation, whereas I have a couple of stocks that I'll give to you as well. All right, so let's go to the viewers. And by the way, everybody out there who knows me has been here with VectorVest as long as I have. What's my favorite stock? Apple. What's going on with Apple right now? Hitting historically new highs. Not one of the stocks that I put in the hot stock. I think that it would have just been, oh, Glenn is going to pick that just because. So I went a different route. But I wanted to bring that out there. Apple is hitting historically new highs. Coming into the holiday season, that also may be something to look at, but I'm only mentioning it because it was brought up in the chat. We can see your chat, by the way. Wow, really, Jay? Jay does this to me a lot. As I talk, he says, oh, hi, Jerry. And I'm like, really? Really? So that's why you put that up there.
Gotcha.
Is this Jerry? All right. AMD, the second stock in the list behind Lulu's, which was Steve's pick, slightly overvalued. All right. The upside potential, the relative value, the stock's long-term upside potential, and the key words in that, long-term potential, the stock's ability to hopefully outperform a AAA corporate bond over the next 1 to 3 years, tells me that it should outperform that AAA corporate bond by 27% over the next 1 to 3 years, something that you might want to hold on to. Relative safety, not as good as Lululemon, which is at the top, and I'm going to compare it to the stock that's at the top since it's at the top. But nonetheless, while it will have some semblance of consistency and predictability. Why? Because it is above the value of 1. So above the value of 1 is favorable, below the value of 1 is unfavorable. What I like about the stock is that it's moving. So a little background behind what's going on with AMD, because a lot of people compare it to NVIDIA. They are in the same space. AMD puts out video cards, all right? And the cool thing about what they're doing right now, and it piggybacks off of one of Jim's picks, they have a partnership with Microsoft, all right? And that's big for them. Microsoft is way out there, a lot of computers. And not only that, along with their partners, besides just Microsoft, there is a computer that is an RTX computer, which the graphics are supposed to be amazing. All right, and talking about the holiday season, for any of your kids that are out there looking for a gaming computer, keep in mind that with that partnership with Microsoft and other people, that computer is probably going to be amongst the best computers out there for gaming. So it does play into the holiday season a little bit more than I thought it was going to after listing it. Looking at what's making it move, the stock is dynamic. The stock is in a move right now. 1.5, probably the second fastest moving stock on the list. Steve's other pick, 1.67, which was Cuervo, is the fastest moving stock on the list. And you put that together, really rock and roll, and high CI. The stock is not susceptible to long and lengthy price declines, growing their earnings at a clip of 28% a year. Man, now, the earnings per share is 97 cents annualized, not paying a ton per quarter. But man, the company's doing well. The company's doing something right in that they are growing their earnings at a clip of 28%, and it's by recommendation. My other stock is OTEX, OpenText, a company that looks after the backside, not really the inner workings of a company. Didn't want to say backside, but
Because it's not your backside.
it's a good stock for your backside. Whatever.
So confused right now.
Don't be confused. They are involved with a lot of the revisions that companies make as far as keeping compliant and things of that nature. And the big thing about what they've done recently is they bought a company called Citradine. Gosh dang it. I wrote it down. They bought a company called Carbonite. And what Carbonite does is they are software for protection, antivirus, all that stuff to protect data. And if OpenText is going to be employing a lot of data from a lot of different companies, that was a smart buy for them so that they can protect themselves about being breached with all of the companies that they have under their care. So that was big for them to hone in and shore up their protection with all of the data that they had access to. Good upside potential, good safe stock. Tells me at 1.24 the stock has got a higher probability, thank you for that, Jay, back office compliance, even though you didn't spell it right. It's got a high relative safety, which allows you to know systematically that the stock's got a high probability of meeting or exceeding earnings. The stock is in an uptrend, not as big as many of the other stocks, but above one, favorable, good CI, buy rating, and they grow their earnings at a clip of about 14% a year. So those are the two stocks that I have. Now, let me go back and tell you how I got to these stocks. We recently came up with a search in the software under the cherry picking folder called Hot Stocks. And what I did was ran it, and you'll notice two of those stocks that I'm looking at today are in that list. There's AMD and there's OTEX. All right, so you can always run your own hot stocks at any given time whenever you want to, but again, that's a lot of the power behind the software to be able to come up with this. There's a lot of different aspects or characteristics to the search to provide the stocks that are there. So that is where I got my listing of stocks from. Let's go to the graphs. Let's go to AMD. Now, AMD over the last 3 months hitting a new high. Like my graph is a little different than, and I like to take that everybody's graphs are just a little bit different to be able to bring up what they're trying to put into play. I have a 20-day exponential moving average, serves as a good level of knowing once you get into it, that's a good level to know when to get out of it. Once it breaks below that 20, that's a good opportunity to get out of the stock. If you feel that the stock's price is moving up too far above the 20-day exponential moving average, then fine, take that off, manage it with an 8 exponential moving average. How about really locking in a profit on that? And look at that 8 doing a great job, even on the pullbacks, keeping you in the stock a little longer. But if you get in on the 20, you might want to think about getting out on the 20, or if you want to lock in profits a little bit more, change to the 8. I'm going to put back on the 20. The volume is pretty steady. As the stock's price has been running up, so is the interest in the stock. Volume is rising. Earnings per share over the last 3 months definitely moving from the bottom left to the top right, and the stock has recently become a buy recommendation and rising. I like the idea, 3-month high. If you're going to pull the trigger on the trade, about 12 cents higher than the high. And once you're in the trade, a good way to manage the trade is either with that 20-day exponential moving average or lock it in a little bit more with the 8 exponential moving average or whatever moving averages you like. Those are just two that I'm putting out there for you. Let's go to the next stock, which is OTEX. All right, notice, and I went right along with what Jerry did with one of his picks, breaking out of a channel. So, stock was moving in the channel, also hitting a new 3-month high. It broke out, and the next day had followed through. But look at the closed candle. The price started at the top of the candle, pulled back down. What did it do? It tested that former level of resistance, which is now a current level of support, of which the number I cannot read. But it tested it, and guess what? We got more follow-through, bouncing back up. Nice new high today. Very little wick at the top. No selling pressure. Strong up day. Pay attention, though. The volume doesn't make me feel super warm and fuzzy, but if I feel and look at the price action of the stock went above the 20-day exponential moving average on this candle here, a good up candle, still running, broke above resistance. Earnings per share looks good. I would pay attention to the volume pulling back just a little bit. Volume is conviction. Volume is conviction, and the stock just recently became a buy. Anybody have anything to say? No? Great, we'll keep moving. No, go ahead, I'm only
I just say real quick, I love both. I love what you did with OTEX. The AMD, speaking of the Tuesday coaching session, one of our model portfolios, we do buy rights. So we buy stock, sell covered calls against it. And AMD had come up after we ran our scans and all. So we were making money on a nice covered call trade on AMD as well. So that's working out well. Also,
I just want everyone to know you stole my pick.
No, I did not. I did not. I gave you all an opportunity so that I would go last. And so,
Jim, where'd you sell the call at? 40?
I think the stock was trading 36 and change, if I'm not mistaken. We sold, I think, 38 or 39 strike. I forget exactly. But the stock is up from where we purchased it,
nice.
So we're making some money on the AMD, and I'm hoping that.
It's a good pick.
I liked it because I liked where the support was, and with a covered call, I really don't, as long as it just moves up another half a point, I'm happy as can be because we'll have a successful trade. So, good company, good stock.
Yeah.
I wanted to give up one more reason why I picked this stock. Put it on a 1-year graph. As of January 2nd, let me draw that line. I want to show you just how hot this stock is. January, that's 12/24. What's the price on January 2nd, Jerry? I'm calling you out.
Okay.
What's the stock's price on January 2nd?
$18.83.
What's the stock's price at right now?
Double that.
Outstanding. That's a 100% move in 1 year. Notice that earnings per share, that the earnings growth rate was hot. This is a hot, dagnabbit. This is a hot stock. I got it somewhere. Oh, all right. It's hard to be me sometimes. This is a hot stock. 100% move. 100% move over the last year. All right? So, folks, that is the listing.
Glenn, can I make one quick
Oh,
comment?
yeah.
Jay had asked, I mentioned the Tuesday session. We have a URS retirement coaching group every Tuesday. Joey, I don't know if you could put an email address in there, but if anybody wants to ask questions about it, they can email me. Joey, can you do that? Yeah. You could put in jimpy@vectorvest.com if anybody has a question about our Tuesday coaching group.
All right. Just to finish up, here's the listing of all our stocks, all 10 of them. I think overall, this panel did a darn good job on finding some stocks for you guys to take advantage of. We've given you some insight as to what to look for to get in, when to get out. So it's not just saying here, buy these stocks. Take a look at what we've done. We've analyzed the stocks for you better than anybody else out there can do. Giving you information on all of those stocks. Sure.
I just want to make one more quick comment because Glenn has the watch list up, and one way to know that look at the watch list averages on the bottom. I love that, the power of that watch list average on the bottom. You've got an average relative safety 1.28, relative values up there. Look at the comfort index.
It's a good mix.
That's a great mix of stocks regardless of the objective, all good quality stocks.
4 different types of investors. I think Steve and I more so align with each other, more so than me with Jerry or me with Jim. But put all 4 different personalities together on this panel, and as Jim just mentioned, that watch list average is freaking amazing. Can I say freaking? I said it anyway. Okay. All right.
Buy the basket.
Buy the basket.
Buy them all.
I ain't gonna tell you to buy. No, I ain't telling you to do that. I'm just saying. I ain't telling you that. I'm telling you cherry
Do
pick.
some deep out of the money call spreads.
I ain't telling you that.
Just kidding.
See, I'm not
just
going
kidding.
down that.
I was kidding.
I am
It's a
so
joke.
not going down that route. All right. We should have. We're a little bit over. That's all right, right, Jerry? I mean, right, Joey. Yep. All right. Do we have a winner for the Tampa 2-day?
Yes.
Are you going to put it in the room?
Yeah, it's already in the room.
It was already. Did I miss it?
By
Look at that. Good call, Steve. My thoughts exactly. Huh?
Harry Reynolds.
Harry Reynolds.
Oh, Harry.
sweet.
Harry's been in my training Tuesdays. He asks a question at every training Tuesday before everybody gets there. He always asks a question. So there you go. Excellent. I'm glad that you won it. I'm going to show up.
Helma's here. Hi, Helma. Is that Helma?
That's
Helma.
different helmet.
Is that a different helmet?
That's a different helmet.
Hi, Helma. Either helmet.
Yeah,
That is.
that's a different helmet.
It's a different helmet.
All right. So I'm going to go up
I
here.
like helmets.
Joey,
nice.
can you
I
put
love
the
it.
link in the room for the next thing that I got to do?
Yep. I'm going to put the picture in.
All right. So can I change over to it now?
The other tab.
I know where it is. I just need to know, can I do it now?
We're waiting on you.
Okay. So we have a special offer right now. If you want to take advantage of 50% off of the trial offer, here's a link Joey's going to put in the room. Right, Joey?
Yep.
All right, he's going to put it in the room. You got to click on it. Don't type Tampa in the room. You got to click on it. And when you take advantage of this trial, you get 30 full days of VectorVest, which is $129 value, which tells me you're probably getting VectorVest real time. You get a portfolio analysis of up to 30 of your own stocks that you want. All right? How about that's a $29 value? But wait, there's more. You get the complete successful investing quick start course system with live weekly online group coaching. That's a $475 value. Now, in the lessons, you get a 30-second stock analysis system. We're going to teach you how to become an expert on analyzing any stock. We did a lot of that in the watch list, right, guys? We analyzed. How quickly were we able to analyze the picks that we had? All right? We're going to teach you how to weed your portfolio, the exact steps to know which stocks you should sell. Then, we're going to teach you how to become a green light buyer. Market timing is important. We're going to give you the exact signals to know when it's okay to buy a stock. Now, once you get the green light, you need to know what stocks to pick. We're going to teach you how to cherry pick the top 2 stock picking techniques that we have available to you. And once you've got all of that down pat, we're going to give you a 10-minute management plan. You're going to have a systematic plan to manage your portfolio. And get this, folks, in 10 minutes a day. So I had to sit up in my seat to tell you that because it really is 10 minutes a day. And I'm sorry if I'm yelling. I get a little excited. It's just what I do. But if you want to do that, click on the link that Joey put in the room. Click on that link.
Somewhere in between.
Somewhere in between. Or you give our product support stuff. Folks, you get all of that. That full bundle. You see all the commercials now on the bundle? You get a full bundle for $4.95. $4.95. And Jay says you get a set of steak knives. No.
No, you do not.
So no, we're not doing that. But wait, if you order now, no. $4.95 for the bundle. VectorVest.com/YT. Folks, if you liked what you saw today, please like our channel, subscribe to our channel, and better yet, folks, you need to comment on this video once it comes out. I got all your comments in here. Thank you very much for interacting with us. We love that stuff. We got an idea. We were able to see all of your comments that come up. We didn't answer all of them, well, because we were busy trying to give you stats. So, it's okay. But, what? I'm talking Italian too. Because, Forget about it, you know. Sign up for the program, you know. All right, $4.95. Thank you guys for being here. Congratulations to the winner of the Tampa 2-Day 2020. That's huge. That's a big win right there. That's a big win. And if you haven't already, sign up for the live stream or go in person. Folks, it's going to be one of the best courses in talking about the VectorVest software. And I like that we have the 2 tracks. If you're a little bit more aggressive, go visit Steve and Jerry, either in person there or on the live stream. And if you've got a lot of gray hair and you want to do a lot of the retirement stuff, go with the gray hair guy. Jim.
We take gray hair people too. If you're curious.
All right, so
You hurt me.
I hurt you.
It hurts.
All right, you're gonna be all right.
I have gray hair.
I got gray hair too. I don't know if Joey was able to cut out my gray hair on the video. You talk about my belly? Really? Really? And you laughing? But you're talking about my belly. All right, so folks, again, we had a lot of fun with you here today.
We have to edit this.
We will have to edit this out. We had a lot of fun sitting up here, giving you these stocks and walking you through. It's not just, hey, look at this stock, go buy it. There was a lot of thinking behind it. We walked through why we thought about, and the beautiful thing is we all do trade differently. You've got the full impact of different types of investors giving you their picks. And of course, as the host, I love doing this stuff. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. So with that, folks, adios, arrivederci, ciao, au revoir, sayonara, see ya.